tricks that you recommend that people who want to refresh a space can do without breaking the bank?
I've always liked talking to people and hearing their story and seeing how you can elevate their space to make their life better.
Let's talk about designing for different life stages. Welcome to the Hot Flash Health Podcast, where we're dishing out unfiltered truths about menopause with a side of sass and a sprinkle of grass.
Get ready to dive into the wild world of hot flashes, mood swings, and all of the other joys of being a queenager.
This ain't your grandma's podcast. No. We are here to talk our bodies, our fears, our passions, our desires, all while navigating this wild roller coaster ride of menopause.
So grab a glass of wine,
Or three.
kick back, relax, and let's enjoy this hot flash wave together.
I'm Courtney Mamusha, and alongside me is my fabulous co-host, Dawn Fable.
We're just two outspoken broads who like to call it how it is.
Now, without further ado, let's kick off today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hot Flash Health Podcast. I'm your host, Courtney Mamusha, and we are talking about something that truly lifts your soul. Interior design. Whether it's a cozy corner or a full-on transformation, the spaces that we live in have the power to change the way we feel. And today, I'm so excited to introduce our guest, Kristin Wessell, owner of the fabulous interior design studio, Narrative Lifestyle, who brings her passion for design to life every single day. Kristen is a former professional dancer turned interior designer who worked in everything from residential projects to staging homes for realtors. Her tagline, your story, your style, reflects her mission to create spaces that feel truly unique to yourself. Kristen's worked with a range of clients from Detroit to Denver, and now she's here to talk about the importance of design in our lives and how it changes as we age. And did I mention that Kristen also wraps gifts and creates floral bouquets? Can't wait to dive into that. Clearly, she has an eye for beautiful things inside and out. So grab your coffee and get comfy, and let's dive into how your home can truly reflect your journey inside and out. Welcome, Kristen.
Oh my gosh, thank you, Courtney. That was so nice. Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yay. Well, let's get started.
Cool.
So I have to say your journey from ballet dancer to interior designer is fascinating. Can we talk about how that transformation happened and what sparked your passion for design?
Yeah, absolutely. I grew up dancing and then I danced professionally for 8 seasons, touring through New York and Chicago. Our home base was in Detroit. Actually, my choreographer was a feminist, a lesbian feminist who did a lot of pieces, a lot of bodies of work on the female experience and on the female body and competitiveness and body image and race. And there was a duet I did, actually, that was performed in the Center for Performance Research in Brooklyn, New York. It was myself and a Black woman. And the duet was our competitiveness with each other. And at the end, she actually spits on me. And
Wow.
yes,
Was that a loving term of endearment or was that like, I spit on you?
that was I spit on you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And so a lot of like deep discussion pieces. There was one that we did called Vested. We performed that in New York as well. And that was us dressed as men in vests, hardworking labor men. And at the end, we actually take off our vests and we're in the nude. We are covering our breasts, but we sing Stevie Wonder's "Isn't She Lovely? Isn't She Wonderful?" And so
I love that.
there were a lot of pieces about the female experience. So yeah, I had a lot of background in that. And then it segued into design because as I was dancing, I was working at a small furniture store and I started to see how design was a lot like choreography.
Yeah, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Meticulously putting everything together and creating a story and visually pleasing everybody for sure.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, I'm jealous. I mean, I danced for many years too, but I,
You
ended
did?
up, yeah, I was more of the jazz, like,
Cool.
jazz.
I love it. Yeah.
It was fun. I miss it. Now I go to, see shows on Broadway and whatnot. I'm like, God, I can really dance. Like I should start dancing again or the ballet or anything.
Yeah. I've lost all of it. It's gone.
Was there another moment in your dance career that made you kind of choose to go this direction? Or did you start working at this small interior design company or furniture company and realize, I really like working with this type of industry.
Yeah, I did that because that was the one that paid the bills. And then I started working under a designer. I was his assistant and got to see in real time what it was like in the front seat of going into people's homes. It's very intimate. I've always liked talking to people and hearing their story and seeing how you can elevate their space to make their life better. And I would always joke that being a designer is a lot like being a bartender because you hear everyone's story all the time. They're like,
Oh yeah, true.
I'm
Or you're a therapist, right?
yes, I'm getting a divorce. I just survived this. I hate
Yeah.
and so your job is to bring joy, and dance brings joy and design brings joy. And so, but yeah, the way that a room flows together, the way the light is brought in, the way a painting can lift your soul and change your mood, and the lighting, everything is very similar to dance. And my body took a beating. You can only dance for so long. So then, yeah, design just seemed like the right choice for me.
That's awesome. Well, for our listeners, we have all of our guests fill out a pre-podcast form, and Kristen filled out the form, and this is how small Denver is. She mentioned one of my friend's companies that she's worked for. So this furniture company she's talking about is called Studio Como, and the owner, Brad, is like one of my very good friend's brother. So I also know who she's talking about. That's how small Denver is. And his store is incredible. Actually, I don't even know if he still has it, but I remember when it was down right across from like the baseball field, right? It was like right down there. And I think his sister Heidi like hosted a party once, and it was all of us women drinking wine. And I was like, I don't know how he's letting us in here drinking wine,
Oh,
like
yeah, there's a lot of parties.
flinging shit around. And
Yeah.
anyway, it's like, that's so crazy. And it's such a small world that you work for Brad, and I know him.
That is wild. And Brad, their main showroom that I worked in is in Rhino now. Yeah. And I think he's got like 6 or 7 now, like in Aspen and in Utah. I oversaw the one in Rhino, Bozeman, Montana, Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And I was project manager. So I was really low on the totem pole, but he gave me a chance because this Brad guy, you should look up Studio Como. It's kind of a big deal. I mean, he took a chance on me. And that's kind of how I learned how to run narrative because I was running these businesses and behind the scenes, really seeing how a business is run. And the designers, Lara, who's Italian, and Leah took me under their wing and like would take me on projects to like these mountain homes. I mean, insane money.
Insane.
Insane money. Like, the type of people where you're like, what's your budget? And they're like, we don't have one.
Yeah. Those are the clients that you want. I'm like the one you don't want. I'm like, $1,000. Can you go to TJ
We're not
Maxx?
budget clients. I love budget because you guys are nicer.
That's true. Great. Well, I'll have you come over and look at my house after we're done here.
Let's do it.
So let's talk a lot. Let's talk about interior design. We hear a lot about how interior design can really affect your mood and your energy, right? So having an uplifting space, bringing the light. How do you see design as something that lifts people's spirits and helps relieve stress, right? We're all in this age of our life where we're stressed and burnt out and trying to figure out the next stage of our life. And some of us are going through divorce. And,
Yeah.
we like to say this is our queenager stage where we know what we want and what we don't want. And like design comes into that, right? Like I just put this fun wallpaper up because it's like more me. So let's talk about how you can elevate people's space to be more like them.
Yes, absolutely. I actually work with a lot of divorced women who are like, this is my chance. And I'm so happy for them. Yes, design is your serenity. It is your home, your space. I even do office space, but it's your place where throughout all the stresses of life, and I know that you talk a lot about menopause and health issues, I really am a big believer in collecting pieces too that mean something to you, that tell a story, that brighten your day. I have something framed in my house. It's a birthday card that my best friend wrote me, and I tore it up and I framed it because reading that every day starts my day. And, I have clients who keep little like jars that they made jam with their grandmother with, and they just like place it in their kitchen because it brightens their day. I'm a big believer in showcasing your books because we should all be educated and we should all be reading. I believe in fresh plants. I have some that travel a lot, so I have fake plants. But the beautiful idea of fresh plants, breathing in that oxygen is important. I mean, there's so many little ways that we can elevate your home to make it feel safe and yours and your story. You get to tell stories throughout your home. And that's really important. And for your clients who are going through health things, a beautiful set of sheets goes a long way. Investing in going to the company store instead of Target, doing something nice for yourself and having a beautiful bed where you can really breathing techniques and all the things that I'm sure your clients do, lighting candles, it's everything in some ways.
Is there anything right now that you're using? Like in every home, I always have to have like this color is so soothing. I mean, I know everybody's individual, but is there like a popular thing that you're bringing into people's homes? I think you just listed 82 of them, but except for the live plants, which I'd probably kill. I'm like so surprised I have a big plant that's still living. I'm like, I can't believe this guy is like,
You know what the big thing is, actually, in answer to your question, is decluttering.
yeah.
I have clients who are like, can you please just come in and declutter? Because that messes with your mood and your mind. If there is shit everywhere and stuff everywhere and you don't know where to start, how are you supposed to calm down? So actually, I would say decluttering right now,
Yeah, that's
keeping it
good.
simple.
I have this house. I have like a mid-century home in
Me too.
Hilltop, and like
Yeah.
huge shelves all like lining up the staircase. So for me, it would be like, can you please come in and make this look pretty? Like staging that is so hard.
I love doing that. That is like my Xanax.
Oh, good. If anybody needs some staging and like whatever,
Yes.
organizational shelves and decluttering.
I love doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So one of the things that you emphasize, right? I mean, the whole idea of narrative lifestyle is, probably creating your story, your style. So how do you help clients tap into their personal style while still pushing them out of their comfort zones? Because I think that's what
Yeah.
good designers do, right? They try
Yeah.
and
And
a
that's
little
what I
bit.
learned in working for that designer in Detroit is it's very important to not push your style on someone. And so I take what they like and I elevate it and I do old school homework. I will give them, my clients, a stack of magazines and I will have them see something, an image. Okay, let's say they open up the magazine and they see, oh my God, I love that teal vase. That's the teal I want in my house. I say, rip it out. Rip it out. We put it in a manila file folder, super old school. They make a stack and then we talk about what it is. And let's say it's that teal vase. I say, let's go off of that. Let's start there. And that's what you can start to see, bringing joy of that teal throughout the home. And then we bring in other layers throughout that. But I start very small and then we kind of work off of that. So that's how I start.
That's great. I mean, I think it is hard to really, I'm sure, to work with people and understand their style, especially when people like myself can't really even communicate what my style is, right? So it's like, I really like some vibrant things, but I'm also still cool with like, very clean, simplistic lines. So, like, how do you translate that into like somebody's style?
Yeah. And it is hard to communicate sometimes, which is why the visual is so important.
Yeah. I know my daughter just put together a Pinterest board to like have her room redesigned too. So I think,
Love.
good job, good job. So as we age, right, we were talking a lot about how our tastes change and going through life changes and hormonal changes and, just everything around you. You kind of like get rid of the things that no longer serve you. And a lot of that could be, your closet being cluttered and these shoes and, this dishware that I only have 5 out of 10 sets, or,
Yeah.
mismatch. So our tastes, our preferences change. How do you think our relationship with interior design evolves over time?
Yeah, I think it definitely evolves over time. You might start out more modern, and as you get older, you might be like, I kind of like French country now, and I kind of want to go back to my roots. There's a designer I love, Kelly Hoppen. She lives in London, and she went through that evolution where she's older now, and she's like, I grew up on a farm, and I really kind of miss that quiet simplicity in my design. And so she went back to her roots in that way, which is, I think, wonderful to rediscover yourself. There's so many different sides to ourselves, and art shows that so well and so beautifully. And, I would hope that we're all changing and evolving, and that shows through in design. So, yeah, I would tell anyone listening, be open to that. If you want to go back to something or try something new, design is such a fun way to do that.
Are there times where you've worked with a client, like with a client who's got, two partners, right? Yin and a yang, and trying to like design a space that is cohesive for both of them? Like talk me through that process because
Yeah.
I have like 2 totally different views of things, and like he usually wins because I just give up fighting.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? Usually one does kind of start to surrender.
Yeah.
Yes, I have done that. And that's actually kind of fun because you can definitely layer in design. For example, people are scared of like mixing metals and mixing wood. So everything needs to be matchy matchy. No, 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 no. We can mix and layer and make both parties happy. And usually in situations like that, I put together vision boards of like three examples of how we can bring both sides together. And then we kind of decide on one, but there is going to be some push and pull. There is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's any type of relationship push and pull.
Yes, yes, yes. A lot of relationship stuff. Like I said, I'm the bartender. It comes out in design.
I love that.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a client come in thinking they wanted one thing and then by the end they completely transformed into a totally different style?
Yeah. Yeah. I have had that and they've been happy. And I'm like, are you sure? And they're like, yeah, let's go for it. Okay, I can do this. Because they get a little shy and then they start coming out of their shell and they're like, yeah, I'm going to go for it. I have seen that. Yeah.
That's great. So you've worked on probably projects, it sounds like, from a variety of budgets,
Yeah.
from high end to more modest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll be on the more modest side. How do you approach a budget when working, or excuse me, how do you approach a project when working with different budget constraints? Can interior design still have a huge impact even on a smaller budget? Let's be honest.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, first of all, I'm very open with the budget talk. I do it in the first meeting because you just have to get it out of the way. It is what it is. The majority of people have a very small budget because design is a luxury. And with small budgets, I have found a way I don't want to give away the places that I go, but
Totally.
I've got some beautiful local gems in Denver and they give me discounts and working with a budget is great. And then the people who don't have a budget, in some ways, there's actually like kind of more pressure in those ones because they have very high expectations. And so I actually get kind of more nervous with those ones. Whereas the people who are like, okay, this is my budget. I have $1,000. I have $3,000. I'm like, we can work together because there's usually more leeway on their end too. So
Yeah. Well, I can imagine. Are there any design tricks? I know you won't tell us your places you shop, but any tricks that you recommend that people who want to refresh a space can do without breaking the bank?
yeah, I mean, decluttering is a big one. I'm sorry, fresh plants is a big one. Candles. Get the tea lights with no scent. Like World Market's a great one. Everyone knows that place. That's fine.
Well, she gave us one, folks. She broke down.
Everyone knows World Market. World Market is a wonderful place to go on a budget and just get like for tea lights. If you sprinkle tea lights around your home with cute little holders, that elevates the home. I like to do fresh fruit. So if you have like just a bowl, make sure there's no clutter around it. Take the stickers off, put some fresh lemons on there with a little vase of flowers. Let it have its moment.
Love that.
Yeah, it just quickly elevates it and it does. It brightens your mood.
Well, I'm going to be adding some more plants that will probably die in the next.
No, Courtney. We're throwing good.
I do not have a green thumb. I'm like, oh shit, I haven't watered my plant.
You know what you can do? Well, succulents are easy, but also just go to like King Soopers or Trader Joe's and make sure you cut them so they're short and modern. And just do it once a week and put it in like a clear little, like I've got like this right here. Like this brings me joy. That's Trader Joe's.
Yeah. Oh, I love Trader Joe's.
This has been alive for 3 weeks. You're fine.
That's amazing. You must put sugar in your water or something. Like, did you say it was some fairy dust or something?
You have to sing to your plants though.
I do. I love singing. It's usually in the shower or my car, but I will start singing throughout the house. You gave me permission.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about designing for different life stages, because obviously as we're aging, like we've talked about, we're going through different stages of our lives, from our own emotional things to, I don't know, I've lost both parents, as people know. So like I've obtained all of this. Well, on the podcast, if anybody's been listening, they've heard this story a few times. But yes, I did within the span of 2 years, one in 2020 and one in 2022. Whew. But I have gotten all of this stuff from my mom and my dad, and it's just been like hard to throw things away. Yeah. So that's a different stage, right?
Yeah.
So as we age, our needs change in terms of functionality, style. What are some considerations you take into account when designing for people in different stages of life?
Well, I would say definitely keep those pieces. And definitely when you are mentally ready, showcase them. Maybe you're not ready to look at them, but you said you have shelving. I mean, those are story pieces. Those tell a story. And as we age, we do tell stories about our parents. I lost my mother last summer.
I'm so sorry. It's very fresh for you. You haven't even, well, maybe a year, but the first year is so hard.
Grieving is a very strange process, and that actually led to my sobriety, which we'll talk about later. But grieving it comes in stages, design comes in stages, and as you get older too, I also feel like you don't have to keep up with the Joneses as much with your design. I think it comes down more to the storytelling. Because we all, as we get older, we're all sad about something. We all have a story about something. Something has happened to us. And either you want to talk about it or you don't, but showcasing it in your home is very important. I've been in so many homes, even for dinner parties with older people. I met an Auschwitz survivor, and, he had the stamp on his hand, but he had also, in a frame, a poem that he held on to. And it was a beautiful story piece, historical, obviously. And obviously meant a lot to him. I clearly remember it. I'm talking about it today. So as you get older, you don't have to keep up with the Joneses. Tell your story about what's happened to you through design.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I mean, I'm sure too, as like we're talking about different stages and people are getting more into their 70s and 80s. And I don't know if they want design, but I would assume you have to kind of look at things too as more of like a protective space, right? Like, okay, like maybe we move you to this bedroom or do these kinds of things. I don't know if you've worked with clients like that, but I can only imagine that these stages, we're in this stage in our midlife, right? And then we're going to keep on aging. And with that,
Yeah, I just had to do a hospital bed for a client on Monday. Our client's mom, she had to be moved to assisted living, and we wanted to make sure that we got her a beautiful hospital bed and a
that's
beautiful
amazing.
desk because the end of her life, her room should be beautiful.
I agree. With people, and this is just like random question, but I'm like sitting here looking around me and like I've had the same stuff forever, right? So is there like a good timing where you're like, okay, I think, every 2 years you should look at like refreshing your bedding or getting a different rug to like mix things up? Is there any like time frame or anything that you like feel is a good thing to reassess your space?
No, I'm not a big time frame person. I think it's a feeling and I think it's really personal. I struggle with that in like with my wardrobe where I'm like, you know what, I haven't worn this in years. I have to say goodbye. But
Yeah, what is your rule for wardrobes? Is it 2 years or a year? I don't know. I keep on saying a year.
I seriously, I don't have a rule, Courtney. I'm sorry.
Okay. No,
I
it's
just have,
good.
I have a feeling. I just have a feel. Yes. If I'm looking around the house and I'm like, you know, it's time to say goodbye, I let it go. And also you can try to sell things on Etsy and you can, resell and things like that. But no, I don't.
Well, good to know. So everyone listening, we don't have to put any time frame on our choices. That's
No.
good to know. All right, so we did talk about Studio Como a little bit, and obviously we both live in Denver, probably right down the street from each other.
Yeah, we do.
It definitely is a unique space. Was that the experience that really helped move you into the design scene? And are there design elements from Denver that have really helped shape how you're bringing design into the world?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I never thought I would have had a cowhide rug, and I have a cowhide rug because I saw how cool,
There you
like
go.
I loved it in Studio Como, and I live out west, and I'm like, I need elements of west. And then my husband's a hunter, and he got an elk, so we did a European mount. So it's not the head; it's just like the skull, and
Cool.
it's just really modern and beautiful. And I love the wheatgrass here out west. So I have Serena and Lily wallpaper. I kind of splurged on that, but it's like a wheatgrass going up if you go to the website, you'll see it up my walls. So they did a lot of fiddle leaf fig trees at Studio Como. And those are very trendy, but I don't care. I love them.
Fig trees. I think that's maybe what I have.
God, they're so gorgeous and they're so easy. So yes, I did definitely. I can't afford, Studio Como carries, Minotti and Natuzzi. And Studio Como, by the way, Como stands for Colorado Modern, but also Lake Como.
I was gonna say, I know he like loves Italy, and they go to Italy a lot.
Yeah, because that's where we get the furniture, is in Lake Como. Yeah.
Well, duh. I'm sure you maybe got some trips out there. I'd love to go Lake Como.
I know. We're headed to Italy this summer, but not there.
So am I. I'm going to Sicily and then Spain and Portugal.
Oh, good. I'm doing Amalfi Coast.
My favorite place. So when I went there once, I was like, this is where I want to come to die. Like,
Yeah.
it's so beautiful.
These are your ashes. That's where your ashes will go.
Probably illegal to spread them, but my husband will go do it somewhere. I don't know. Let's not talk about me dying because I still have so much life in me.
Yes, you do, my dear.
Let's switch it because you did mention briefly that you got sober. So let's talk sobriety and getting real. I mean, it's such a brave step to get sober. And I feel like I was just talking to a friend who's like, I think there's so many like sober curious people now,
Yes.
and it's like sort of a trend. And like I, would be remiss to say I haven't thought about it because I feel like when we're aging and
Yes.
perimenopause and menopause, I feel like shit. And like I 2 drinks the next day, I'm like, why do I have such a hangover? It's crazy.
Yes.
So let's talk about your story. How did you decide to give that shit up and
Yeah.
be healthier?
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, my story is I ran it into the ground. I love wine, and it was a joke until it wasn't anymore. And I was drinking daily, every night, all the time. I was sick of me. My friends were sick of me. I was starting to have even like cognitive decline. I couldn't remember a lot of things. I was repeating the same story over and over again. I wasn't giving my all at all in life. I was just coasting through and doing what needed to be done. And I've always been such an inspired person, and I lost all of that. And I lost my zest for life. And it just became a vicious cycle of when I could have my next drink. And actually,
Yep.
talking about sweats and things, I started to get really nasty sweats. I would wake up in the morning and my sheets would be completely wet. And I was always waiting for my next drink to stop that, withdrawal, stop that hangover. And it had gone on for probably, I'm really open about it because I want to help others who can get to the other side because the other side is really nice. It had gone on for about 5 years. And then after my mother's death, it got really bad. And that's when my friends and family stepped up and said, you got to stop. You're an all or nothing kind of person. You're not the kind of person who can just have a couple glasses of wine anymore. So, yes, I stopped. I went through 2 days of withdrawal. I went to a treatment center and got professional treatment from people who've been through it. And now I'm on the other side. And I was actually researching for this podcast about all the benefits for your clients through menopause of completely quitting drinking.
I'm sure there's a lot. Let's hear a few if you don't mind. Since you did all the research, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, the big one that I kept finding is the breast cancer goes way down. I mean, I know that you guys probably know that. Also, I'm on a medication called gabapentin that your clients might be interested in. It really helps with nerve pain and it helps with cravings. If your clients are feeling uncomfortable and they really want wine during menopause or any kind of drink of their choice, gabapentin's really helped.
Are you still on that? Does it kind of help?
Yes.
Like for the rest of your life, help
I
with
think
that?
I'll be on it for the rest of my life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really like it. It causes some water retention, but who cares? I'm sober and happier.
Totally.
Yes.
You don't have hangovers anymore, which I'm
Oh my
jealous.
God, I wake up in the morning and I'm so happy and ready for the day.
Oh, God. See, I'm sober curious. I'm like, I like what you're saying
Woo!
resonates with me, where I'm like, I'm tired, I'm grumpy. Like,
Yep.
I had 2 vodka drinks on Friday and Saturday for my anniversary. I was like so tired and felt so hungover and drained all day. And I'm like, I just had like 2 drinks. Like, what is wrong with me?
I know. It's so bad it's poison. It's ethanol is poison and we're not supposed to be putting it in us. Yes, worsening hot flashes and night sweats, which I suffered and I am not menopausal and I was dealing with that for years. It affects mood swings. Alcohol is a depressant. So if you're going through depression during menopause, it'll only make it worse. The mood swings were real for me. I was snapping at my kids more, snapping at people more, all those things.
Has that subsided a lot?
It
Since
has.
I feel like I just have hormones and I'm like constantly like bickering at my husband and my daughter's driving me crazy. Like, if you call me bro one more time.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. When you're sober, you're still crabby. There's still bad things that happen. You're still, life is not easy. You're getting through stuff. But yeah, I do feel like my fuse is not as short and yeah. And then the big thing, well, the weight gain and the metabolic slowdown, all of those things everyone knows about. But the other thing is the cognitive decline. I mean, that scared me. I'm 38 and I was really starting to forget a lot of things. And it took a good, I would say 90 days into sobriety before I felt fully rewired and back.
I'm like that. I forget everything. And my husband and my daughter are like, we just talked about this last night. And I
Yes.
feel the same way. I'm like, holy shit, like, what is wrong with me? Where did my brain go? I used to be able to multitask, remember everything. I know, like they say when you have, well, like, at least I always laugh that when I have you have a kid, you like give them half your brain cells. So I feel like I already pushed half of them out. Anyway.
Yeah, I love it.
But like I miss that, right? It's like being able to remember things and remembering what a client says and remembering things on a call or
Yes.
yeah, what I did yesterday. Like people on Tuesday, Tuesday, were like, "What'd you do this weekend?" I'm like, "Bah, bah, bah, bah,
I
bah."
know. I know. Yeah, it's very real. So alcohol will only make that worse. So
Okay, great. Okay, wait. I do have to ask: do you take any like mushrooms or anything? Because I
I
know I've heard like mushrooms are better for like
yeah,
whatever.
I don't, but I met people in treatment who it really helped a lot, but I
Yeah,
don't.
yeah. Just curious if there was any other vice you swapped, or you were like, "I'm done with everything."
I swapped it with my gabapentin and I'm very happy. It makes me feel very like kind of euphoric, zest for life, relaxed, zaps that anxiety that I've always suffered of. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that story and some of
sure,
these tips and
always.
you know your life's journey. I think it's been so incredible what you've done, and I'm so excited to have just met you at a stroll party that we were
You know,
at,
and we
and
clicked right away.
we did. I can't wait to hang out. She had the cutest little like hairpiece and little snakes, and I like have snakes everywhere. So
Oh, cool, you
yeah, like my little snake
do.
necklace.
Yay, you are a snake girl.
I am. I'm all about transformation. Like I've never been into snakes, so people like feel like. But listen, like I've been so drawn to them lately. Look at that. Like I
Cool.
mean, they're
See,
everywhere.
that's design. That's in your soul.
Yes,
Love
it
it.
is design. It's in my soul. So let's maybe like give our listeners 5 things that they could look at to change right now, and then tell everybody how they might be able to contact you. I don't know if you do any consults
Yeah.
with people afar, or I know you work
Oh,
with people in
yes.
Detroit, so kind of talk about that.
Yeah,
But I
I
would
do
love like, a
consult. I
couple of
love
tips
them. Yes. Okay, five
to
things.
spruce up your house or
Spruce.
change stuff.
Okay. I like the declutter.
Declutter
Um,
plants. I know. I get it.
have a
Okay.
nice hand soap in like a clear container. Don't use like a container that says like a soft whatever the brand is, Dial. Don't do that.
Okay.
Pour it into a nice glass.
Ooh, I
Okay.
love that.
That'll be pretty. That's two. Three, put a little, some herbs or a plant in your windowsill in your kitchen to make you look interesting, like you're like into cooking.
People know that that's not me, but I'll fake people out when they come over.
See, yes, it's a lie. It's all a lie.
So,
Put some stack books like horizontally. Don't do them all vertically. Make them
do you do
interesting.
them all the same color? Do you like color block?
No, you don't need to color block. You don't need to color block. No. So do some horizontally and then do like a cute little vase or something on top to anchor it down. Is that four?
4.
Okay, five. I don't know. I really like the idea of the candles, of the tea light candles.
I know you have given us a lot of ideas already. I just figured there's more out of your hat to pull
Oh,
out.
there's
But
always so
good
much
idea.
design. It's so fun. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, you can, my website is www.narrative-lifestyle.com. And you can find me on IG at narrative, NARR dot narrative lifestyle, and just see what I'm about. I work with budgets. I love to have fun. I'm very artsy, and you'll have a sober designer.
I know. Well, I can't have you over for wine, but I can have you over for fancy water and to
Yes.
maybe look at the space. So we'll do that for sure. Thank you so much, Kristen. It's been so inspiring. Again, love your story, love your vulnerability to share with our audience, and really give us some tips to help us create an environment that helps us thrive and grow ourselves and become our own story, because
Good.
that's what you're all about.
Good.
All right. So for everybody else out there, thank you so much for joining today. Stay tuned for next podcast from us. We've got a whole slew of summer guests coming up that are great. Be sure to follow us on social media at Hot Flash Health, and definitely subscribe to our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or any of your listening preferences. Leave us a review. We love hearing from you. This is our community, your community. Let's build it together. And until next time, keep moving, keep fabulous, and make your space your own. Thanks, Kristen.
Thank you, Courtney. Bye, everybody.
And that's a wrap on today's episode. Remember, menopause may be a wild ride, but together we've got this.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok at Hot Flash Health.
Stream and subscribe to us on any of your favorite listening platforms like YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.
And of course, share your thoughts with us. We love hearing from our amazing listeners.
And until next time, stay sassy, stay fabulous, and keep those hot flashes in check.
Yeah, girl.
Woo!